hungry for truth, a world where every story matters. There exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The government's core mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project that answers somebody's question.
For the past 20 weeks, the front bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
When you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers, you bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport.
If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Now airing every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome back from that quick commercial break here on Behind the Headlines. My name is Timothy Nyangweso. In the studio, I'm joined by Professor Sarah Sali, Honorable Paul Omara, Old Man of the Clan, Andrew Mwenda, Mr. Kintu, Daniel, Dominic, and also the PSST himself, Ramadan Gobi there. Let me read some 2 comments before I get to the PSST there. Good evening, Timothy. I would like to ask the PSST why the country never publishes the GDP figures. There's a monthly report that we receive. Yes, I am asking because when we measure the contribution of things like livestock, crop farming, largely domestic Ugandans against GDP with a lot of foreign investment production, it appears as if the contribution is little, hence attracting little public funding. This is Benjamin in Kampala. I agree with Andrew that PDM was conceived and cannot create rural wealth. My proposal is that we should aggregate all the parish money and establish processing units at every village. Let the locals get a share of the volume of the trade and the plants that they have there. They will create employment and add value to it, okay? Thank you for the program, Timothy. Knowing the strengths of Uganda's entrepreneurial class, Uganda is a very peace and stable country due to good leadership of the NRM, led by General Museveni. Today, the president was speaking to the people of Kasese and Uganda where there is war in Congo and the people are not working, hence no development. The Secretary to the Treasury has stated it is very well in Uganda doing well in terms of the economy. Remember 1986, the president came and led us. Uganda had 5 billion, okay? Quite lengthy by Job, and thank you very much for the numbers you've given us there. Lastly, thank you for the show. This is Christopher from Chenga. Please thank Andrew for the submission. I strongly agree with him on his submission and has indeed spiced the show. He has made my night, okay? Compliments have gone to the gentleman he has had. PSST, you are superintending over a budget that is almost coming to an end. You have given us the beautiful rosy pictures there. You have a projection of 10-fold for 15 years, but you also have domestic areas, you have debt, and you have politics that is now at center stage. How does that balance come into play, especially the politics, and to keep your rosy picture of our economy?
You know, the day you stop looking at glasses as half empty and you look at them as half full, is the day when you start to actually get positive results.
Okay.
I want to implore you and everybody else to really understand that we're on a very good trajectory as far as economic transformation is concerned. We are intentional and deliberate. The things which government is doing now, starting with the, for example, the issue of full monetization of the economy. That parish development model you want to talk about in air-conditioned buildings with the elitist lenses is actually changing lives of so many Ugandans. There are Ugandans who are not in this economy you are discussing. They were actually growing food, eat and go to church and wait to die. And the children take over the piece of land, grow food, and the cycle continues. But in the past couple of years, a number of these Ugandans are increasingly getting into the money economy by just getting one binding constraint addressed, capital, so that they can get inputs which are high yielding and be able to access the market and sell what they have produced. There are already a number of key signs across the country that the parish development model is bringing a new segment of economic agents, of people who are not in the economy, to the economy. When you see where the president is moving and you are coming, Timothy and everybody else, you are coming from a village. Go back to that village, to that parish, and you see what's happening. For us at the national level here, we created the systems which monitor. We have the PDMIS, which identifies the beneficiary. And once we identify him, we prepare them and send the money to them, direct from the treasury to that person, using another system called Wendy. And when that person gets the money, now we're asking where we see it. Is that the right person who received the money, whom we identified at first? And two, is that person doing what they said they were going to do with the money? So there was a gap, and we put up a system that we are using with the security apparatus called Zaidi, a system which now tracks where this money has gone and what it is doing with that person. And I can sit in my office on my computer and actually click on every household now in Uganda with a national identification number, with a telephone number, and with a picture of the person and the whatever enterprise they are doing. And I can pick my phone and call, and you have been doing it randomly. I say, let me call Chisoro, and I call someone in a household that is on Zaidi, and I speak to that person. I ask them, have you ever received money from PDM? And they tell you, yes. How much? I received 800,000. Not 1 million, of course. And then I can work out and what are you doing with that money? What have you done? And the person tells you, and you have actually a system which has pinned that household using technology that you can see what they are doing on my computer, in my office here in Kampala. This is what we are talking about. We are not talking about stories or heartwarming kind of conversations. It is lives, and we are changing lives of people. Now, that parish development model is targeting the lowest of our pyramid. You know, if you are talking about equalizing opportunity, there are two things you start with: education and financial inclusion. Any human being somewhere, once they get education and also they get financial inclusion, you have halfway solved their lifetime challenges. The rest then comes into play, all these numbers we usually discuss on television and so on. But I don't want really anyone to undermine the significance, the transformative idea of the parish development model. It's a good beginning of getting those who had been completely left out to now join. Then eventually...
How many people have been impacted by it, since you have the technology to see this?
Yes, we have now about 3.6 million people who have benefited from this PDM.
How much
Our
money?
target, 1 million.
That is 3.6 trillion.
Yes, aggregatively, 3.6 trillion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 3.6 trillion for 3.6 million
Yes.
Ugandans.
Yes.
And how many of these have had impact?
No, of course, impact is
a continuous thing.
Impact
because
is
the reason I'm asking PSST is because UBOS released its report and said 800,000 people. You were saying 3.6 million. Where is the variation?
When did the UBOS do the report?
The 2024 census it did.
Yeah. So
It's
you
a
need,
historical
you
data.
need always to know. Now, anyway, I don't want to, I'm not
Okay.
here for this kind of debate. I wanted to inform you that there are steps being taken, first of all, to enroll Ugandans who are out of the money economy to start doing something from which they can earn a living. And there are experiences on the ground. The Economic Policy Research Center has now done a recent study on this. You may wish to invite them and you have a conversation about what is happening. But my point was that as you get now these people to start getting into economic activity, remember this is just